Blink, the largest light and art event in North America. A spectacle 2 years in the making now comes down to the final months. Producers kick into overdrive as they attempt to transform Cincinnati into the future city, the ultimate goal of Blink.
We're about 90 days out. I don't know what that translates down into hours, but I'm feeling the weight of that. It's go time.
Today is the first day of calling together all of the creative talent who are going to do light-based installations on the street along the Blink route.
We've all been kind of working our different channels, and it's only now, just now, a few months out, where we're all starting to get in the same rooms, which is so exciting because it's starting to feel bigger than any of us now.
This is going to be something really extraordinary.
Weeks later, Blink apprentice artists submit their proposals for entry into the event.
We're using PVC piping to lay out the basic skeleton of all the pedals, and that's our project.
Up against a deadline of their own, apprentices head into the workshop to put action to their plans.
We're in our final week working on the parade floats, and we're coming down to the wire. It's very challenging work. There's a lot of problem solving, and it really tests a person's mental will. There's a lot of positivity and energy, and I think that they stop, solve the problem, and then keep moving. So I think they're doing really well.
Across town, the producing team attends one of many weekly meetings to discuss final details.
The weekly meetings were incredibly important because there are a lot of variables in the span of idea to execution. Because it had never been done before, there were so many unknowns that consistently kept popping up, and we had to have that touch point regularly for all those parties to come together and level set on what the course was.
Even in its preparation, Blink focused on uniting people as one. As such, many of the best local, national, and international artists came together to tackle a challenging vision.
There were some really tricky ones in there too that I was really, frankly, would have even taken out of the show early on thinking it wouldn't be a great location. But then their creativity took over and they do what they do. We knew that's when this would all start to unfold in a most beautiful way.
The final step brought the community into the fold. Assembling dedicated volunteers is seldom easy, but Cincinnatians responded. Their dedication would prove crucial for the kickoff parade, now only hours away. As the sun went down, the curtain rose on Blink.
We estimated about 100,000 people turned out for the parade. Everybody decked themselves out in EL wire and LEDs. That was our one caveat, is you have to illuminate yourself.
Families who lived around where the parade started were coming out, and we had all these little light up tchotchkes, and we were giving them to the kids. I don't think the neighborhood has seen that kind of usage in a long time.
This wasn't a parade that you watched go by with these sponsors and their trucks. This was a community event, and the people of the community showed up not only to watch, but they created amazing works of art, which I think is really an amazing outcome of Blink.
As the parade spilled into Washington Park, Cincinnati was bathed in light. Designed originally as a light art and projection mapping event, Blink, throughout its 4-night run, became something much, much more.
Blink for Cincinnati was a really unique moment where for 4 days it promoted community in the true sense of the word. It was one of those rare moments that togetherness was tangible and something that was prevalent in the landscape of the city.
All the months of hard work, all the meetings, all the prep work, all the planning, to see it finally happening and getting to share that with the city, it's really exciting to see it come to fruition.
I think there were no happier people in this city than that core group who pushed forward on their vision, and I know to a person they definitely got what they built and then some.
Just watching that rainbow of people with sheer joy on their faces, it was incredible. I could not walk 2 steps without stopping and looking and listening.
There was one that really surprised me as a crowd favorite, that was the Rosemary Clooney, because it just had this fun, campy, over-the-top cool factor. But what really carried that piece was the soundtrack. They did a mashup, of some of Rosemary's songs, and people just fell in love with it.
To see an entire city rally around an event and kind of have the same train of thought, like this is something beautiful, this is something positive. It was amazing to see.
What was, I think, beautiful about Blink, while we had music and audible components to the event, there was a voice-driven soundtrack to the festival of the dialogue that was consistently happening. And so you heard things like, this is a place that I want to be a part of and I want to live. Just really special moments like that were cool.
The voice-driven soundtrack was courtesy of 1 million plus attendees who came out over the course of the event. Many were simply blown away by what they saw.
I'm from Cincinnati, and I have never seen this. It's a nice community feel. It's people of all different races, cultures, ages, and everyone's just excited to see what's going on with Blink.
I think something like this, it's Cincinnati's way of saying this is our style. Come enjoy our style of art, our music, and you will find that it's different, but at the same time, it's really doggone cool. It really is.
I visit New York City often. It's a place I've fallen in love with, and things like this don't necessarily make me want to relocate too bad. It's a really, really cool thing.
I've lived here all my life, and there's places that, that I'm going now to explore that I never went to before, and seeing what Blink has done this year, incorporating all the different neighborhoods, all the way from OTR down to the banks, that's exciting. I think it's something to come see and come visit.
I think that's the vision of a future city, where everybody can come out in unity to enjoy a whole host of things from different cultures.
The people of the future city are united and enlightened. In the blink of an eye, their hearts and minds glow with the radiance of transcendent knowing. Those are the opening words of the Blink Future City Manifesto, written in a fit of passion by Blink producer Dan Reynolds of Brave Berlin. And while they may have started out on paper, they ultimately penned a cityscape with light. Blink by name was conceived to be a moment in time, but it's obvious its philosophy and art will stay in the hearts and minds of Cincinnatians for years to come. The future city is just getting started.